Hello everybody and welcome to the Freestyle Podcast. I am Nadia Gillmore and today we are going to be talking about something that is deeply personal but also very important to our society, and that is the power of speaking your mind, especially within the Black community. Now, this conversation is inspired by Candace Owens' book, Blackout, which challenges us to wake up from cultural and political narratives that often silence independent thoughts. So, in this video, we will be breaking down Candace's ideas and explore the significance of independent thinking and why owning your own voice isn't only courageous, but it's very essential. Now, segment 1 is Understanding Blackout. Candace Owens wrote Blackout as a wake-up call to the Black community and society at large. The blackout she describes isn't about race, it's a metaphor for the willful shutdown of free thought and honest conversation. She argues that the blackout of critical thinking is enforced by mainstream media, political agendas, and social pressures that create a narrow, one-sided narrative, especially about Black people's experiences and political choices. Now, I do want to grab something that Candace says. I will quote her many times in this video because there are so many great points that she makes. Hence why I'm sharing this. Anyways, I found it. Okay. So she says, we must stop expecting the narrative spoon-fed to us by the mainstream media and the political elite. The true power lies in questioning, speaking out, and reclaiming our voices. So this basically means rejecting the idea that there's only one correct way to think about politics, culture, or identity. What really hit it for me was the emphasis that Candace had placed on free thought being the foundation of freedom, not necessarily political freedom, but the freedom to be yourself, to challenge, and to evolve your own beliefs. Candace urges readers to embrace independent thinking and resist group thinking. This is vital because silence or conformity is often mistaken for unity, but it actually weakens communities by stifling genuine dialogue. Now, Owen highlights that the greatest social movements were driven by those who dared to speak differently, who questioned dominant narratives, even when the answer was dangerous or unpopular. Now, this responsibility is greater for young people and creators like me who have the tools to shape society and culture and politics through honest dialogue with storytelling, podcasts, and social media. But beyond just speaking out, Candace reminds us of the importance of critical thinking, not accepting information blindly, but questioning, researching, and forming our own informed opinions. This intellectual independence builds resilience against manipulation, propaganda, and false narratives. It's about being brave enough to say, I don't know, but I will find out, instead of allowing ideas that we did not choose. In a world flooded with misinformation and echo chambers, this kind of mental freedom is revolutionary. It allows us to connect across divides, challenge injustice, and ultimately build a society where truth is valued over conveniency or conformity. For me, embracing this mindset means being willing to confront uncomfortable truths within my community and society at large. Okay, Candace's message is clear. Speaking your mind isn't just a right, it is a responsibility. It's a powerful act of leadership and self-improvement, especially for voices who have historically been silenced or misrepresented. Now, I would like to bring up Blair White because she's getting a lot of backlash for being a Republican. I believe she's like a conservative Republican and trans. And a lot of people are telling her that that's not physically possible because if you're trans, you must also be a liberal or a Democrat. And Blair is fighting this norm because Blair believes in conservative values or ideas, and they're saying just because you're trans, that means you can't be Republican, and that is conformity being mistaken for unity. They're trying to silence her own thoughts and beliefs about society, about culture and politics because of a certain box that she should be placed in. So there are a lot of people that do that. Just because you're black or you're gay or you're whatever, you have to be a Democrat or you have to be a Republican or you have to be this or that, and they're placing you in boxes based off of your sexuality or your ethnicity or your skin tone, and it's extremely unacceptable. And that's why we have to step up and speak now before this rises and becomes a more difficult problem in the future. Now, Candace says, back to the grandma glasses, I'm still on my other. Sorry, I just got stuck on another page. Anyways, yeah, okay. She says, we can no longer afford to stay quiet because it's easier. The next generation deserves honest truth and fearless leaders willing to disrupt the old cycles. And that's literally what I was saying about Blair White, is like, here, I'm gonna like break up that two sentences I just said into sections. Okay, she said, we can no longer afford to stay quiet because it's easier. It would have technically been easier for Blair, I believe Blair's a YouTuber, to stay quiet and just be like, okay, yeah, I'm a Democrat, because it's easier. You're not getting backlash and you're not getting all this hate online or whatever because you're going against the old cycles, which Candace mentions at the end, but we'll wait till we get there. And then she says, the next generation deserves honest truth and fearless leaders willing to disrupt the old cycles. And I'm not necessarily into the whole trans thing. I believe God made you the way you are, and that is perfect. We're not perfect beings, but the way he created you was fearfully and wonderfully, and he does not make mistakes when it comes to his creation. So I don't believe that anyone should be trans, but if you are an adult and you're wanting to do that, that is your right. You can do that, and that's technically what Blair did. So since we're in that state, I'm just saying the hate that Blair is getting for being a Republican and a trans is not ethical. It's completely wrong. Just because, like I've mentioned, just because you're gay, you're black, you're white, you're whatever, doesn't mean you have to be a certain thing. But Blair is stepping up for the next generation of people. I think Jeffree Star is, I don't know what he is, but I think he's a conservative. I don't know. All I know is he's just not into the they-thems. I saw like a clip of that. But I thought he was a conservative. But Blair was saying something how Blair's the only one that's I guess, more popular trans conservative or whatever. So, yeah, that's my take on it. But at least Blair is standing up and being bold and not, she doesn't seem like someone, she doesn't seem like, I kept saying she, but I realized it's technically a dude. I kind of forget. But Blair doesn't back down, and that's what we must do. We shouldn't back down because we're getting pushback. Now, Candace challenges the status quo, and I take that challenge seriously, and I believe we all should, because our future matters, our voices matters, and we can't keep living in this old cycle of scripted conversations. So what does it really mean to speak your mind in 2025? It means facing a landscape filled with social media algorithms, cancel culture, political polarization, and misinformation. It means choosing truth and integrity over popularity and approval. Okay, she says, true power comes from owning your voice regardless of the noise or backlash. History belongs to those who dare to speak up. And for me, speaking my mind is about 4 things. I've written them down so I need to find the notes. Okay. Challenging political and cultural assumptions with facts, creating content that informs, provokes thoughts, and encourages debates, amplifying diverse voices, holding leaders accountable through critical journalism, and fearless questions. Now, I have chosen to use the Freestyle Podcast as my platform to have these honest conversations and to show Gen Z and young voters that intellectual freedom isn't just a luxury, but it's also a necessity. Now, Candace urges us to become informed, independent thinkers, not followers. She writes, when we refuse to be blacked out by others, we open the door to genuine progress in politics, culture, and personal identity. Now, this is a call to action for me and for you to think deeply, to question boldly, and to never stop pushing for truth. We cannot afford silence. The power in changing our communities and country lies in us speaking out and being heard. Thank you guys very much for listening. I hope Blackout in this discussion helped you guys own your voice unapologetically. And while you're at it, check out Candace's book, Blackout. It's not a sponsor, I just really enjoyed it, hence why I made a video. So if you want a deeper understanding as to what she's saying, definitely check out the book. It's not something you will regret reading at all, especially if you're into deep conversations. And yeah, check out my channel if you're wanting to listen to more bold discussions. And I have a Spotify channel, so you guys can check that out. It'll be in the link down below. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys next Tuesday and Saturday. I'll be posting 2 videos a week. So you guys have a great rest of your day or whatever time it is you're watching this. And goodbye. The Freestyle Podcast. I am Nadia Gillmore, and today we are going to be talking about something that is deeply personal. So what does it really mean? Oh, Willie. History belongs to those who dare to speak up. Speak up. Wait, what song is that? Speak up. Can you guys help me? If you know what song that is, write it in the comments. Anyways, she says, why? Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't say we. Like I said, if you like deep discussions about society, culture. Yep, I'm done. Goodbye.